Okay, today I'm going to do a short video to show you how to set up part B of your lab 5, the voltaic cell lab. So here are the materials that we're going to need, and your lab kit should have more materials than this. We'll use those later in the lab for part C. So first we're going to need to prepare our materials. We have pennies. We're going to need 5 pennies, 5 pieces of cotton, and then 5 pieces of aluminum. Now, the pennies are going to come probably looking pretty gross. Some of mine were really, really, really gross. That's because we need these like pre-1982 pennies that are grungy. So for really grungy ones, you can soak them in some household vinegar for about 30 minutes, kind of wash them with your fingers and agitate them. And then you're going to take some of the sandpaper that came with your lab kit, and you're going to sand these. And you're going to walk this line between cleaning off gunk and exposing the copper. You're also scrubbing off copper oxide, which you probably won't be able to see as well. And so by doing this, we're going to expose just the copper metal, which is our goal. But we don't want to sand this to the point that we see exposed metal underneath the copper, which I believe is zinc and pre-1982. And so some of them are going to look cleaner than others. The idea is just to get some exposure to that one. Still kind of dirty, but I can see that there's some well-exposed copper. So I'm going to hope that that works. Because if we scrub, if we use the sandpaper too roughly, we're going to lose our ability to actually do this experiment. Then for the cotton, you're going to need to cut out the cotton. You get these little rounds that are kind of big. They almost look like they're double, but they kind of stick together. So hold them together and then take a penny and you're just going to trace with scissors essentially. And this doesn't need to be perfect. Do not let perfect get in the way of done. Just go ahead and cut out a circle as best as you can. That looks to be about the size of the penny. So it's kind of okay, right? I mean, that's far from perfect, but it'll work. And then we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to do that 5 times and make 5 of these. Then we're going to do the same thing with aluminum foil. And so I've cut out little circles of aluminum. Again, you can see it's not totally perfect, but it's pretty close. And you should have big sheets of aluminum foil in your kit like this that you can use to do that. So after you cut all of these, we're going to need to soak our cotton circles in our electrolyte solution. And so for that, we're going to need to use 2 things from our kit. We're going to need to use our 5% acetic acid, which is corrosive. And we're going to need to use our solid sodium chloride, which is an irritant. And we need this to be a solution. So you're going to take this to your sink and fill it to the top. And you're going to shake, 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 shake until all of the solid disappears. I'm going to go fill mine up now. So I filled this to the top and I'm just going to keep shaking and shaking and shaking until I get all of that solid to dissolve. Right now that I have a solution of my sodium chloride that is dissolved, so it's a solution, I'm going to put equal parts of the sodium chloride and the acetic acid into a little bowl. Now I can dump all of this if I want, and that works as well. I'm going to be overly cautious and well, actually, okay, now that I have a sodium chloride solution instead of a solid, I'm going to pour both of these containers, and this will give myself equal amounts of my acetic acid and my sodium chloride saturated solution into a small bowl, and kind of mix this up. This will be my electrolyte. It's a classy kid's chopstick as a stirrer. And now my plan is to soak my cotton circles in this liquid. And once they've soaked up the electrolyte, I'm going to just immediately start constructing my battery. So for my battery, I'm going to want to start with a square of aluminum, and it doesn't really matter the size. I went for something that's about like 1 by 2. I'm going to start with that. And I'm going to start building this so I stack in a specific order. And I'm going to alternate my pennies, my cotton, and my aluminum. And I'm going to make sure that I go aluminum foil, cotton, penny, aluminum foil, cotton, penny, aluminum foil, cotton, penny. So I'm starting with an aluminum square. So that means I'm going to go ahead and put a cotton circle on the bottom. Then I'm going to layer a penny. And the idea is I don't want the pennies and the aluminum foil to touch. All right, so now that I'm sorry, between the stacks.